Nebraska today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below as we are closing in on our goal of 1,100 subscribers before the end of June. It's going to be close. We're going to be close. So hit that subscribe button down below as we march our way towards 1,100 subscribers. Also, make sure that you like this video if you enjoy it. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think of this new Nebraska team with a new coach under Matt Rule. What you think will happen. It's going to be an interesting season here for Nebraska. Matt Rule he's a good hire in my opinion. I think he adds some depth to this roster, and overall I think it is a good hire, but we'll see what it brings us in this schedule. So one other thing, make sure you check out the website, the podcast, and the Patreon page. All links will be in the description, as well as our second channel, College Football Roundup. Link will be in the description, so make sure you check that out, or will be up top right here. So make sure you check that out as well. So let's make our way over to the schedule. So Nebraska has a very interesting kind of schedule here. They start off the year against Minnesota on a Thursday night. With it being week one, it really doesn't matter what day of the week it is. But this is an interesting matchup, and it is a tough matchup overall. Minnesota, you have a team in which, well, PJ Fleck has the program in a solid spot. I just don't see Minnesota being worse than Nebraska. If this was a home game, maybe Nebraska gets the win, but with this being a road game, I just don't see it. I think Jeff Sims is a solid quarterback. He is the transfer quarterback from Georgia Tech. But I think with so many new players, I know you return 7 offensive starters and 8 defensive starters, but just with a new quarterback, new coordinators, new head coach, you just got to give some time for development. Then you head to Colorado to play the Buffs. This Colorado team, the big thing in this matchup is really going to be depth. Who has better depth and who has better star players? And at the end of the day, I think that Colorado's star power is what wins them the battle. I think that Colorado does not have the depth particularly, but they do have the star power. And I don't think Nebraska has the depth either. And I think that that's the big difference with Alt McCaskey and Shakur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I think those three is really what's going to carry them over the edge. But to be honest, really, if this game was at Nebraska, I'd probably pick Nebraska this matchup. It really was a 50-50 matchup in my opinion. And if it was later on in the year, I'd probably go with Nebraska just because I think that Matt Rule has the program in a better spot going into the future rather than right now. Then you have Northern Illinois coming to town. This, I think, is the first win in the Matt Rule era. I think that the Huskies, they have not been they have struggled the past year or so in football. They are definitely not the same team that they were previously in the MAC. They definitely have some struggles that they need to deal with. Then you have Louisiana Tech, another win here. Not much to say. Louisiana Tech, a program that needs some work as well. These two are they're group of 5 and they're bad group of 5. It's not even like they're really good group of 5 teams either. Then you host Michigan in Nebraska. This is going to be an interesting matchup. This is Michigan's kind of first test of the year, if you even want to consider Nebraska a test. I'm sure you Nebraska fans do. So Michigan, definitely a team that has a lot of work to do and a lot of work cut out for them. They definitely, I think, need to Nebraska, you're just, at the end of the day, I just don't think you have the pieces. And like I said, I don't think you have the depth either. You don't have the star power that Colorado has, and you have better depth overall, but you don't have immense depth, and you're going to need that even with Michigan playing on the road here. Then you have a road game against Illinois. This was an interesting one. It's a Friday night matchup at the Fighting Illini. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to Illinois just simply has the bigger bodies. They're just more physical. Brett Bielema has that program heading in the right direction. And even though they lost a couple of pieces, I don't think Nebraska has the ability to take advantage of it. And I think that Illinois will just fine in that matchup. Then you have a bye week, and then you play Northwestern, this time in America rather than Dublin. That was an interesting week 0 matchup last year. That was a really interesting matchup overall. But I think that at the end of the day, Pat Fitzgerald and crew is just not going to be able to get it done. I think that Matt Rule and Jeff Sims is able to get their first Big Ten win against Northwestern. Then you have Purdue coming to town, another team with this team with a new head coach as well as Nebraska. You have Illinois' new old defensive coordinator as Purdue's new head coach, Jeff Brom, leaving for his alma mater in Louisville. And I think when it comes down to it, I think that Purdue is just. I like their players a little bit better. I think Nebraska is a good team, and I think that there is a very high possibility that they win this matchup. But I do think at the end of the day, I think that it is going to be a loss. Then you have Sparty, and if you saw me accidentally click another ahead, I do think it is a loss. I think that with this game being on the road, it's going to be a loss. This is one of the games that it was completely based on where the game was. I don't really have a big time favorite in this matchup. I think the spread is just going to be 3 in this matchup. I think both Nebraska and Michigan State are in similar spots, but in different times of their coach's career. Matt Rule in year 1 and Mel Tucker in year 4 now, I believe. Yeah, 4. So definitely in different spots, but in very similar scenarios where are same spots, but different scenarios. The programs definitely need some work. Then you have Maryland coming to town, and I think that you get a surprise upset W here. I think that Maryland, I think they're going to be a good team this year, but overall, I think that Maryland, there's going to be 1 or 2 moments when I think they get humbled. And they lose a game that they're not supposed to. And I think that this is the matchup. Heading to Lincoln, it isn't an easy place to play. I think that you are able to get a win or 2 here. I'm going to give you the win there. Then you head to Wisconsin. This is just beating Wisconsin at Wisconsin. Really, any road game in the Big West, the Big Ten West, is just such a difficult task. And going to Camp Randall, even with it being later in the season, I do like that it's later in the season for Nebraska, that they can figure a couple of things out. But this is a team that you're really going to need a lot of work to do, and I think that this is going to be a loss. Then you have a Friday night matchup against Iowa. Well, this may be a Friday day matchup because this is on Thanksgiving weekend, so I take that back. But I think that you do get the win. I think if this game was at Iowa, it is a win for Iowa. But I think that Iowa is so incompetent offensively that they're just not going to be able to get a win. And I think that Iowa gets the dub, or that Nebraska gets the dub over Iowa, just because Iowa is so incompetent on the offensive end that I just don't see it and their chances of victory in that matchup. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys all for watching. Hit 2 videos down below that will show you the videos of the playlist of all of my college football predictions, and hit the subscribe button up here as we are on our way to 1,100 subscribers. And as always, have a great day.